Konnichiwa Wagwan people, JayKaminari here. I know it's been a minute. Here my boy moneer He's also on YouTube as well, so go subscribe to him. Yeah, so today we are going to be reviewing The Boys. I know it's a bit late. It's been out for a while.
This is season 1,
Yeah.
so we're going to do spoilers from the start because
It's
been out for a while. So
yeah, so we're new to it. Obviously, we just started watching it like last week. We're going to continue watching it from season 2 onwards.
Literally.
But yeah, this one's just a season 1 review. And yeah, what do you think of it so far?
So I thought it was incredible. I thought the way it's the satirical nature of it, the way it's sort of like, obviously, so The Boys is very much like it's like a take on like comic book superheroes in, I guess, in a very commercialized world. Everything's how something looks, everything for profit and all that. And obviously a lot of it is based around like this group of superheroes called the Seven, which are basically almost like based on individual members of the Justice League. Yeah. The way it satirizes, Western culture, especially the way that also the way it shows how dangerous racism can be, nationalism can be, how dangerous corruption can be. In fact, which we'll get to in a second, but it amazingly manages to characterize all of that into a single person, which who's one of the most terrifying characters ever, which we'll talk about in a bit. But the way it does that, it's also really funny. Also, sometimes at some points very serious as well. And yeah, it does a really good job of showing everybody this is bad, don't do this sort of thing.
Yeah, literally, it's like the perfect way I describe it is Justice League gone dark. Yeah, so obviously when they mention a character that's really evil, that would be Homelander. Yeah. You've all seen him in the memes and everything,
Played by Anthony Starr. He is by far one of the most terrifying characters because he gives off this whole, to his audience, this whole sort of like peace loving, I'm peace, I'm freedom, I'm all of this stuff. But underneath it all, he's dark, he is unhinged. He had a weird, almost Oedipus complex with his boss. He is very much like corrupt to the core, but he gives across this perfect image. Yeah. And the way he's unhinged is terrifying. Like he's generally like, when he's talking, there's this thing where he smiles and it's like,
but you just know it's not genuine. Like and honestly, like I won't get too into it. I have my views on the world right now, but it's the perfect representation of how the state of our higher ups right now.
Oh yeah. Like, if Homelander was English, his name would be National Frontier. Okay, so but for context, National Front is like this horrible right wing, like the British party. I'm not sure if there's much anymore, but that sort of thing.
But yeah.
And so if it was a British, but you know what, I think if they do like a British superhero in The Boys, it will be called National Frontier, and he'll just be massively racist. But yeah, no, honestly, it does a great job of holding up a mirror to the world. And the things it talks about, like for example, like there's a part where you see that Homelander and that company called Vought, which is like deep in like the American government and all that stuff. They plant terrorists. They make superpowered terrorists so that they can get more military funding and fight them and all that stuff. And you see how the creation of superpowered people, or supes for short, was done artificially. That's another twist that comes along in the series. And and so the Seven are well, there was one called Lamplighter, but I'm not sure if he died or he retired. But then you've got
the Deep.
The Deep
is
the Deep. So the way that the way the Deep story starts is you do not like him at all. He's very nasty to
he does
one of them, probably the second. I'd say there's two main characters in this series essentially. The folk characters, which is a guy called Huey,
and then Starlight, which is probably like Starlight's my favorite character in this series so far, just because like obviously you've got the Seven, as we said, like they're all kind of not in it for the right reasons. Yeah. Starlight's like the only genuine superhero who wants to make a change in the world. So you know what I mean?
And she's genuine, and you see how she goes into the Seven and all that. You've also got the Deep, who's like Aquaman essentially, but like he does a sort of like a whole manipulation thing through Starlight at the beginning of the series, and interestingly enough, towards the end of the series, he weirdly gets a taste of his own medicine, and I'm very interested to see where they go with his character, because I'm thinking a little bit of Rickon from Game of Thrones, how he went so far left field, he helped kill the Stark, some of the Stark boys and all that stuff, but then he did this whole thing where did a whole 180. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with the Deep, because I said because me and him said it would take a lot for you to feel sorry for this character. It'd take a lot to feel sorry for him after what he did in the first episode. But he kind of same philosophy, like the Deep wants to have the sort of respect that a Homelander gets, but he doesn't. Then you had Translucent, who's a guy who turned invisible, and
you don't get to see much of him.
Okay. What happens to him is quite interesting, but because he's someone who turns invisible, so something happens to him and he's not around anymore, but because he turns invisible, the Seven are able to keep up the show of it all. Then you've got Queen Maeve, who is probably, other than Starlight, the closest thing to one of the characters who you like, because it's sort of like a thing where at some point you don't know where she sort of stands, but she's like at one point towards the end, she's like Starlight, stand your ground. Then you've got Black Noir, who weird because he's very chilled out, because he doesn't really get involved in like all of the drama between the other heroes. There's one part where he sits down next to this guy playing the piano and just sort of stares at him for a while. And the guy, because he can't talk,
because he don't speak, like he's mute, so he don't speak. And it's just he's I guess he's essentially Batman.
Yeah,
he's like the Batman, but it's like
just chills. And there's one
so there's even one bit where like the rest of them are getting in trouble, and obviously like Homelander's just like, oh, you're good.
He's there the whole time, listening.
Just listening to
the conversation. But lastly, onto Homelander. We spoke a little bit about him, but Homelander is essentially evil Superman, but like
he's different level. Like
he had this weird thing where he had this weird obsession with his boss. Can't remember her name, but he had a weird obsession with her. Like they had a weird sort of mother-son Oedipus sexual relationship kind of thing, and he was a few times jealous of her actual baby.
It's weird. And
with the company involved and stuff, there's lots like they're obsessed with how things look. Their PR, that's what they care about. Which is scary. And they always got this weird HR talk, and it's so corporate. And when you work in places like that, you always know they've got their sentences which people say. It's just it's frustrating. And also Giancarlo Esposito, aka Moff Gideon, turns up in the last episode.
Which is
one
cool,
of the heads of Vought. I'd love him anything he's in, man. It's just he's really good. But then we'll go on to the boys themselves. So the boys, obviously, we saw the main character Hugh. Oh, A-Train. A-Train is basically.
A-Train's the other 7 member. So basically, A-Train kind of sets off the story because obviously Huey's the main character. Huey's girlfriend is like, he's saying his goodbyes or whatever, and then A-Train comes along, runs right through the girlfriend, and she just. Obviously, because of power, she just blows up.
He's basically he's a speedster. He's got super speed. He's basically
he's Flash.
He's Flash. And that sort of sets him on the thing. Oh my gosh, like these superheroes, they don't care about collateral damage or all that stuff. And then obviously that leads him to meet Butcher, who's a character who's fantastically played by fantastic, because he talks like that, and he's basically he hates soups. He does. And he always say like, "What sunshine?" It's like, "I ain't no Spice Girl," and he's just played fantastically by Carl Urban.
And then you obviously, so Butcher, obviously he's brought the boys together kind of thing.
You've got Mother's Milk.
Mother's Milk, who's a great character. He's a family-oriented character. He's got his family and stuff, but he gets brought back because Butcher, Mother's Milk, and another character called Frenchie, which we'll get to in a sec. Yeah. They all used to work together before, basically, but he's bringing them back to try and stop the soups.
Yeah. The reasons which, by the way, because obviously, so Butcher's got a history of why he hates soups so much.
Especially Homelander.
It's personal. It's so personal.
I feel like it's not even so much soups. It's just Homelander.
Yeah. Like he hate, like, and I'm not gonna lie, and you go
Very understandable.
Very understandable considering what happened, but which you'll see in the series. That we won't give away.
But honestly, like throughout like the last, I would say, few episodes, I'm like, Butcher, relax a bit. Then Homelander does what he does, and then I'm like, all right, you have to kill him now, Butcher.
And a lot of the series is about Huey being torn between loyalty to the boys and loyalty to Starlight, who he develops a relationship with. And she is genuine. She is very genuine.
She's genuinely like the one character I really feel. I feel sorry for Huey as well, but he kind of does Starlight dirty a little bit.
Because we were like the Huey man, just come clean, and it's
you know, Starlight generally don't deserve anything. Like, she's a really good, like,
very good
person in the series, and just, you know what I mean.
She deserves better, and she came through for Huey a couple of times. So I'm hoping because we're going to start season 2 today. So I'm hoping that, you know, he comes through for her. And with, again, Butcher's brilliant. Also, they find someone who's been artificially injected with this thing called
what's it called again? It's like some blue
V something, wasn't
it? Blue something V.
It was compound V.
Compound V.
Compound V. Yeah, I think it was called. Yeah. And basically, so we thought it was just a drug that, you know, enhances people, but it actually, to give it to children, it gives them superpowers. We always thought that it was, you know, it was just like a natural thing they were born with. But they injected it into this woman called Kimiko, and she sort of, because a little bit like Lady Deathstrike, and she develops a really close bond with Frenchie, and it's really cool how they get along. The
peak thing about it is, like, Butcher's brought these lot back, and they were calm.
Yeah.
Frenchie was just in his little hideout making his machines and stuff.
Mother's Milk was everybody was calm.
Mother's Milk was at his job, being a family man, and Butcher's brought them all back into all this.
It's things like it's such a thing where it's like Butcher is, again, a fantastic character, but it's very much like,
it's so personal for him.
Yeah,
like, he really, like, all he sees is getting Homelander done. Like, he don't.
I'm not gonna lie,
no more.
you get it. You get why he hates Homelander. I think almost everybody who watches this, you will hate Homelander. And Anthony Starr came forward and said, if you idolize Homelander, you've missed the point. You're not meant to idolize. This character is and his character, what he represents and all that stuff, it's a very real thing, and it's terrifying. And, you know, it's very much, look at how Homelander speaks to people and how he encourages people, and just see that sort of subtle manipulation. But honestly, I think the cast is perfect. The cast really is perfect. I think that the way it satires, you know, modern day politics, the way it is like the way it's, you know, shows a different side of superheroes. Just honestly, it's a fantastic series. It is definitely an 18+ series though. Definitely an 18+ series, but it is honestly fantastic. And they're the most random characters with the most random powers. There's like a preacher who can stretch, but like, and you see there's like woman's got like claws in her wrists, and you've got the most. It's crazy, but it's genuinely a fantastic series, and we're really excited to watch season 2.
No, it's gonna be wicked.
It's
man.
gonna be really
honestly
good.
You know, this series, I can't wait. Like, obviously, I'm so glad that obviously it's been out for ages, so I can't even imagine how annoying it must have been when the season finished and they had to wait.
We've got season 2 and 3 to watch, and the great thing is season 4 that's coming out at some point. Do you know who's going to be in season 4? Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays Negan in The Walking Dead.
Ooh, okay.
He's going to be in it, and I feel like he's a great actor. So, but yeah, guys.
But yeah, definitely check it out, guys. I give it the stamp of approval. It's a good watch. You know, not good action. It is gory, so if you don't like gore, maybe not, because it's very gory. But no, it's good, man. Honestly, good storytelling. The characters, you all get to, like, you know, get to know them well and everything. It's just a good series to watch.
It is really good, guys. If you've seen The Boys, let us know what you think in the comments, and who your favourite characters are and your favourite scenes are.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for coming through. Make sure to subscribe to my boy Moneer. He's always posting and stuff. We have this like nice little rivalry going on. We're close to. He's passed me at the minute, but we're always like confused on subs and stuff. So yeah, subscribe to him, but not too much because I
want all of you. All of you, you're mine.
No, I'm playing. Yeah, no, but no, great. He acts as well. He's also, I'll say again, I've already shouted that out before, but he's got a film he's working on, Fallout, Road to Temporary. Please make sure to keep an eye out for that. It's got an Instagram page, everything. I'm going to leave that in the description below. He's worked really hard. It's amazing, honestly.
Thank you guys. Thank you, man.
Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, it's going to be good. So all you Fallout fans out there, keep an eye out for that.
War never changes.
That's it. Alright, people. In a bit. Peace.
Peace, peace.